Hello, I'm Ty Mason of the DiabetesCouncil.com, researcher, writer, and I have type 2 diabetes. Today I want to talk about the 10 breakfast mistakes to avoid. After you watch the video today, I invite you to check out the description box for my new ebook. This is one of the most comprehensive diabetes meal planning books you can find. It contains diabetes-friendly meals and recipes for different goals such as 800 to 1800 calories per day meal plans, diabetes meal planning tips and tricks. There are also tons of diabetes-friendly recipes for everyone. I'm really starting to like these list videos. They're really starting to make me think. But I also feel like I'm telling you that you are making mistakes and that I am some kind of expert on these topics. Let me assure you, I have made and still make these same mistakes. With that being said, let's see what mistakes we all make surrounding breakfast. The first mistake I think we make is skipping breakfast altogether. It is called the most important meal of the day for a reason. It is. The term breakfast itself lends itself to the importance. You are breaking a fast. You've not eaten in a long time, probably the longest you go throughout any day without eating. So it's important for everyone to eat breakfast, but even more so for those of us with diabetes. Skipping breakfast is probably the biggest mistake we can make. There are studies available that even conclude that blood sugar readings will increase through the day without a proper breakfast. I know you have a tight schedule and you want to get that few more minutes of sleep rather than deal with breakfast. Well, believe it or not, a good breakfast is much more important to your body than that extra time of sleeping. Why not try and go to bed earlier if you require that much sleep? Number two, and I think this is overlooked by many, but a common mistake, is not checking your blood sugar levels. This might not seem to be a mistake to some for a breakfast list, but a fasting glucose level is something that I feel is necessary to see where you are for the day. That first reading of the day tells you a lot about how you're doing in managing your diabetes. It might also help you determine the type of breakfast you may need for that day. A first morning reading before breakfast tells you how your meals are affecting your blood sugar. That is, if you take readings before every meal, like we all should be doing, right? Don't make this common mistake. Before you eat breakfast, take a reading. You know it doesn't take that long, and you'll have a better understanding of what your body is doing. The third mistake I think we all make is forgetting about that regulating fiber. Hey, we all need fiber in our diet, but those of us with diabetes might need a little bit more. We got to try to stay regular, and nothing helps that than a good bit of fiber each morning. Fiber also keeps us feeling fuller longer, and that will help you from getting those bad hunger pains before lunch. Fiber has no impact on your blood sugar whatsoever and actually helps to regulate it. Consider a fruit with a peel, like an apple, or better yet, make a bowl of oats. The fiber in oats is amazing, and with a few additions, it's pretty good. Another common mistake we make is leaving out protein. You need protein in your diet, and breakfast is the perfect time to get it. Protein actually helps your body slow down the absorption of carbs. Protein also is one of those food items that makes you feel fuller longer. Protein is pretty easy to get at breakfast. How about a couple of eggs, or a piece or two of sausage, or both? Eggs and sausage have a GL of 0, which means they have no impact whatsoever on your blood sugar, and they can give you that burst of energy you need in the morning. If you don't have time for eggs and sausage, a spoonful of peanut butter on your toast is also a great choice. Another common mistake I think people make is drinking their breakfast. Now, I don't think breakfast was ever meant to be in liquid form. A breakfast shake will never replace what you will get from a well-balanced sit-down breakfast. Breakfast smoothies are not going to help you make it through the morning with enough energy unless they're full of sugar, and that's not really how you want to start your day out either. I did just a quick search and looked at the top 10 instant breakfast drinks, either pre-prepared or an add milk variety. The average amount of carbs in those drinks was 74. The average amount of sugar, 52 grams. I really don't think that's the best way to start your day, especially if you have diabetes. Number 6, going out of the house without some fruit in your stomach. If you watch our channel much at all, you know I'm a huge fan of fresh fruit. Now you need to incorporate some fruit into your breakfast. Remember those oats we made for the fiber we need? How about throwing some strawberries and or some blueberries in there? That's going to make for a wonderful breakfast. Or how about just ending that breakfast with a nice ripe apple? It will add fiber to your breakfast, some wonderful energy, and a nice crispness to your day. Another big mistake we make, well, we think brunch is breakfast. Now, I don't really know what time you consider breakfast to be, but it really isn't 11 a.m. in most places. Breakfast is meant to be eaten to get you ready for the day. Eating it late in the morning is really not a good idea. The problem with this is that by the time you do decide to sit down and eat, you tend to be really hungry. Then it becomes difficult to satisfy the hunger without overeating. It also means that breakfast is now going to be closely followed by a lunchtime meal. A good breakfast should supply you through the nutrients and energy that you need to get the first part of the day in. Many experts recommend having breakfast within 1 hour of getting out of bed. Number 8, not eating enough. That might shock you. You probably didn't think you would see someone encouraging you to eat more breakfast on a diabetes breakfast mistake video, did you? Well, it's a common practice for many people to grab a bite to eat as they leave the house. They assume this will provide them with everything they need to start the day. The problem is that such a small breakfast is bound to leave you hungry a short time later. This may lead to you reaching for an unhealthy snack. If you know that you're going to not have much time in the morning for breakfast, plan ahead. Boiled eggs in the fridge, man, that can be a great start. Have fresh fruit on hand. There are actually some really good microwave breakfast out there. Some cold cereals are fine. And even a worst case scenario, drive through McDonald's and get a couple of breakfast burritos or two and an oatmeal. That's not a bad breakfast at all. Just don't make a habit of it. Number 9, believing fat isn't good for breakfast. Hey, don't skip out on the fat at breakfast time. Fat can be good for you in certain ways. Studies show that fat helps slow down the burn of carbs, just like protein. We must realize that not all fatty foods are bad. Drink some milk. Have a couple slices of bacon. If you have never really had honest-to-goodness butter, man, try that on your toast. You are missing out on some amazing flavors, and you get a little fat in your breakfast. Finally, number 10, you think I must have at least a pot of coffee with my breakfast. Now, breakfast and coffee seem to go hand in hand like peanut butter and jelly or Abbott and Costello. I'm not at all saying you shouldn't drink coffee for breakfast. A cup or two is fine. You especially need to be careful if you put additives to your coffee, especially sugar. And if you're one of those that stops and gets a specialty coffee and your order sounds something like this, I'll have a grande sugar-free, non-fat, vanilla soy, double shot, decaf, no foam, extra hot peppermint, white chocolate mocha, light whip, extra syrup. You probably need therapy. Well, there's my top 10 mistakes list for breakfast for those with diabetes. If you have any additions or questions, feel free to let me know. And don't forget to get my new ebook, and please subscribe to our channel for many more videos like this one in the future. I want to thank you so much for watching. I'm Ty Mason.